We are already starting to feel the fall chill in the air, and while winter isn't here yet, El Nino is, and it's forecast to get stronger over the next few months.
In fact, all this week right here on Fox 6 News at 9, our Fox 6 weather experts will walk us through exactly how this year's El Nino winter is going to impact your life. So let's just start with the basics, the very minimum here. What is an El Nino winter? Well, here's meteorologist Tom Walks.
Winter in Wisconsin always features some cold and some snow. But how much snow and cold is determined by many different factors. From micro scale or small scale factors like moisture from Lake Michigan to broad or global circulations like El Nino. This winter is forecast to feature a strong El Nino, but what does that mean? First, we have to define what an El Nino is, and for that, we take you down to the equatorial Pacific, where east to west trade winds are blowing. Well, in an El Nino season, those trade winds start to weaken, and that allows warmer water farther west in the Pacific to move east off the coast of Peru. This has been happening for centuries. In fact, it's been adversely affecting fishing off the coast of Peru, going all the way back to the 1600s. El Nino is Spanish for the little boy, but it's also known as El Nino de Navidad, or the Christmas boy, as this tends to happen around the Christmas holiday. But wait a minute, what does warm water in the equatorial Pacific have to do with our weather here in the United States? Well, there is a connection. The warm water warms the air above it, and that in turn rises. That warm air rises, and there's a circulation in the Pacific called a Hadley cell. That Hadley cell strengthens, and then that will strengthen the Pacific jet stream, or the southern jet stream, here in the United States. It pulls it a bit farther south and causes it to get stronger. Keep in mind, the jet stream is a river of air at about 30,000 feet that guides storms across our country. Now, look farther to the north as well. The polar jet stream, that's the one with the really cold Canadian air behind it. That's up to our north as well. So what does all of this mean for our winter ahead? Well, a typical El Nino winter would feature warmer than average conditions, including here in Wisconsin, drier than average just down to our south, and look at this big area of wetter than average conditions across the deep south. That perfectly aligns with that Pacific jet stream. Now, also of interest for us, if we get big storm systems down to our south, that could actually trap or eat up the moisture and prevent that moisture from getting here into southern Wisconsin, which could keep us a bit drier than average as well. Comparing this to the Climate Prediction Center's winter forecast for December, January, and February, notice how this lines up pretty well with an El Nino winter forecast. Above average temperatures expected across the upper Midwest, and precipitation-wise, look at the above average precipitation expected across the southern tier of states, with below average precipitation expected across a large area of Wisconsin. From the warm waters of the equatorial Pacific to the chilly waters of Lake Michigan, both bodies of water will play a role this winter. It's important to remember that El Nino is a global scale phenomenon. More specific factors like moisture from the lake and, even more importantly, low pressure system or storm system track will dictate whether or not we see snow or it misses us by 50 miles. And El Nino will likely change that low pressure track a little bit this winter. But it's not just the low itself, it's also the wind direction. Because when we get the wind coming in off the lake in the wintertime, that can bring lake effect snow or lake enhanced snow our way, and even increase snow totals around here in parts of southeastern Wisconsin. So overall, we're expecting a warmer and drier than average winter with El Nino in place, but rest assured, we're still going to have cold snaps and we're still going to have occasional snow. And it's a good reminder that it's not about how many inches fall, but it's about impact. As you may recall from scenes like this around southeastern Wisconsin, it only takes a few quick inches and strong winds to cause dangerous road conditions and pileups. That's why we are always on alert in the Fox 6 Storm Center for rapidly changing weather conditions.
Oh, it's really interesting, Tom. Thank you for that. Obviously, you had my attention with it's going to be a little bit warmer.
That's right up your alley, right?
Exactly, right there. And maybe a little less snow than normal. But this doesn't mean we're off the hook. It doesn't mean it's not going to get chilly. It doesn't mean we're not going to get snow.
Exactly. And I'm a little leery on seasonal forecasts, right? Because it's sort of a long-term broad brush, right? And we have to consider, as I mentioned in that piece there, the smaller scale factors as well. We just had snow on Halloween, right? Now we're warming things back up. We are still going to get snow, but the other thing to consider here is that it's not just about looking at the numbers at the end of a season and saying, well, it was warmer and yes, it was below average. If we get a blizzard in February and we get a lot of car accidents and a lot of snow, well, the perception then is it's somewhat of a rough winter, right? So perception can often be different than reality or the data at the end of a season. So it's important to mention that we're still going to get snow around here and we're still going to get cold, but at the end of the day, when the season's done, it's likely going to be a bit warmer and a bit less snowy than average.
Now, you had one of these maps that showed it, but it bears repeating that our El Nino isn't the same as your brother's El Nino in Denver or your sister's El Nino in Charlotte. This is going to affect the country in different ways.
And Ted, that's a really great point. Absolutely, because it really does depend on the region that you live in. In fact, one of the concerns is going to be in the deep south, where I talked about all that rain that they're expecting with the jet stream. That's where the main storm track is going to go. That could actually mean a nasty, severe weather season for them in the deep south by January, February, and into March as well. So things can really change regionally depending on where you live. So all great points here as well. So bottom line again, yes, we're going to get snow. Yes, we're going to get cold this winter. However, overall, the overall pattern is warmer and a little bit less snowy than average.
Good.
So that is El Nino, and when it comes to weather, you are El Hombre,
Thank you.
the man.
Thanks
Well,
for
we will have more for you as well coming up all week here
Yes.
on Fox 6.
Teacher Tom. I love it. Thanks for taking
Thanks,
us to
guys.
class. Enjoyed it. Thank you, Tom.